In this video, we will cover one of the most complicated combos to puzzle in the entire game, yet not impossible to learn and able to increase your damage by a margin very well comparable to constellations or weapon upgrades. But to understand how it works, we will have to talk about input, animations, frames, and somehow Minecraft. Let's go straight into it. We will start with the basics that can be used no matter what, and this is especially important if you think you're never going to be able to do harder combos, because this is where we talk about tips that consistently increase your damage and are not difficult to do. We will then put everything together to make this very strong combo that looks kind of impossible at first. So, it has been known forever that dashing after certain hits on Skirk can make her overall animations faster. The clear case is her 5th normal attack, which has pretty high multipliers and a long animation. You can simply dash right after it and still get the damage. This can also be done with the burst when used in her normal attack stance. Here, there is an important detail that should be added. One thing that you shouldn't do while performing any combo is holding a directional key, meaning that you shouldn't try to move your character when a dash is done. I know a lot of players keep holding W or forward for the entire fight. That's a mistake. That results in longer animations, although very slightly. As you can see in this side by side, if I do nothing but spam attacks with no void drifts, holding my W key makes Skirk execute 2 strings of 5 normal attacks and finish off with 4 more attacks. But the same string, without holding any direction, reaches instead a full 5 normal attacks each. This is pretty important and extremely easy to replicate. Now, as you know, it's basically mandatory for Skirk to include at least one charge attack during her on-field window, to consume her void drifts and stay on field as necessary. So we should also understand how to deliver this attack as fast as possible. And as you can imagine, the most simple way is to dash out of it. This can be done extremely early, and actually also with other actions like jumping or another charge attack, but unfortunately those are not very useful here. Each normal attack has a different wind-up for the charger attack, with the best being her 2nd normal attack, making N2CD, 2 normals, charge attack, dash, a very quick way to do this. Quick tip here, it's also a great way to deal with shields when you need as much cryo application as possible. Out of these very small adjustments, we can compile a full combo that is very easy to replicate. This is about 16% better than mindless, bad normal attack spamming, and it's also the combo that I would recommend to most players. But now, let's get to the more advanced stuff. When I said that we can dash out of the 5th normal attack, that wasn't the entire story. We can actually dash after basically all of them and gain damage. But to get there, we have to cover inputs. So, let's talk about Minecraft. In earlier versions, which are still used for a few PvP servers nowadays, the game didn't have a proper attack cooldown. Every single click had the chance of being a valid attack. This allowed users to take advantage of ways that made them click faster. For example, butterfly clicking, where you alternate 2 fingers on the same button to basically double your input. This is similar to how Osu can be played, but with the same one key. Other examples are jitter clicking or drag clicking. Then hardware and software can also come into play. I'm not advising the use of any of the following, but nowadays it's common to certain mouses, keyboards and even phones to have functions that constantly spam one button, or allow you to assign one key to multiple ones or more handy ones, like even the scroll wheel. And at first, I thought that Skirk worked on this principle, because tapping faster does in fact help getting a better combo. But it's not because more taps equals more attacks, and not even because of better timing, although that can be a part of it. To explain why, let's tap the attack button. You would expect a normal attack to come out, but if we slow down the footage, you will notice something. This, right here, is the animation of a charger attack, which then changes to a normal attack. This happens because the same button is responsible for normal attacks and charge attacks. When you press, a charge attack starts regardless. Then, when you release the button before a certain time, the game understands if that's supposed to be a tap for a normal attack or a hold for a charger attack. With this system, even single taps that don't end up resulting in a charger attack still measure how long you hold the button down. It's exaggerated in the clips, but it happens constantly and results in a few lost frames that repeated over time make a big difference. In brief, a normal attack doesn't start when you tap the attack button, but when you release it. Less time holding equals faster normal attacks. And that's why CPS, click per second, still helps. Because the more you click, the less likely you are to hold a button for a long time. Releasing the attack button as quickly as possible makes for frame-perfect inputs that are still possible without any fancy trick. And that's not even all of it, because I'd argue that another important aspect of her combos is the timing at which you do anything, especially dash. Too slow, and that means you're losing time. Too fast, and you might be losing the hit completely. And the tip that helped me the most here was to take a moment to stress test how early I could cancel an animation. So if you want to get good at it, try to go as quickly as possible without losing the hit. Every time you are successful, do it again and try to be even faster, until you find the sweet spot. Okay, some of you are now thinking, bro, just give me the combo already. You're right, and I'm about to. I just wanted to teach you how this all works so that once I give you the real combo, or I give you 100 combos, you understand how they all work and why your execution matters a lot. So let's see it. Since we said that her second normal attack can be cancelled very quickly, that's where we will focus the most. N2D. That's actually the entire combo in a sense. We just want to spam that, but Genshin has a cooldown on how much you can dash, and besides, stamina can be a problem. So every 2 dashes, meaning every other N2D, we will use something that is not a dash to help us wait for the next dash cooldown. The first time we can use our burst to collect void drifts, and after that, that's where I will lose a few of you. Because another attack string that doesn't waste that much time is N3. However, to get out of this one, you will have to walk. So here's how you do it, very simply. Once your normal attack tree connects, you start spamming your movement key forward. When Skirk slightly touches the ground or even steps slightly, that's where you start attacking again. And instead of continuing with her 4th normal attack, she will restart her streak. This is the N3 walk. If spamming forward doesn't suit you, you can also try to time it, and you will only have to press it once. A lot of people are scared of this, but personally I don't find it to be as bad as the rest of the execution. I will also include a combo that doesn't have any walk cancel, but for now, the full combo we're going to see is N2 dash, N2 dash, N2 burst, our dash is back off cooldown, so again N2 dash, N2 dash, N3 walk. We then take this bit and repeat it as much as we can. When we need to absorb void rifts for stamina, instead of N2 dash, we do an N2 charge attack dash. That's it. At first, it will sound overwhelming, but I wish someone explained it to me like this when I started practicing it. Saying the full string is very confusing. And as far as how long the combo can be, well, it depends. The better you can do it, the more of it you can do. Just keep in mind that a poorly executed one will just be as good, if not worse, than the much easier version I explained at the start of the video. This is where it's about the same, and this instead is the combo I had in the Dire Clear I've been showcasing throughout this video, which is about 26% better than the most bare-bones simple execution and 10% better than an optimized one, but technically it can go further. The skill expression here isn't really knowing the combo, it's how cleanly you can fit inputs into the system. The faster and more precise the execution, the more the game lets you do basically. You should now be equipped to understand every combo I throw at you. So here's a few more, shared by a member of my Discord that I thank and who helped me understand some key details. As you can see, there are many variations, but they all follow the same principles. For example, if you still want to get the best out of Skirk, with all the tips I covered so far, except you don't want to walk cancel, alternating a dash after N2 and one after N4 is actually the next best thing. Stamina can also be an issue, and that's where you can either go back to a more basic execution with the N5 combos, or still try to fit the N2 one, but when stamina becomes a problem, you default back to N5. And I should also note that every combo presented here is also a fair bit dependent on your FPS, so if you struggle to keep 60, you should probably lower your graphics. But honestly, you should do that regardless, it affects way more than you think. Lastly, there are a couple more tips I can give you to unfilter. For example, many of the combos that Skirk has can be adjusted to finish with an N5 to make them even more reliable. That's because your skill state ends when you run out of points, but if you are in the middle of an animation, that will finish playing out regardless. And to add to this, if this last attack is not cancelled or if used at the very last moment, a charge attack can always be done at the end to absorb nearby void rifts. You can then keep them for the next rotation. And to finish off the video, I want to say that more generally, and especially in Stygian, routing an encounter is more important than doing these things perfectly. And I didn't touch on that at all in this video. But by routing, I mean adjusting your entire team's rotation to deliver the most damage when it matters the most. Really, that's the real focus of the endgame content. We hardly ever have a scenario that is easy to put into a spreadsheet, where we always loop the same rotation over and over and buffs have perfect uptime. In practice, that really doesn't happen, and with the introduction of more buffs and debuffs given to certain bosses, honestly sometimes even team recommendations don't apply that much. Look how Zenchu became the most played Hydro support for Nefer in the Stygian rotation, simply because of how the boss works. Routing and adjusting a team is more often than not what really makes you achieve a clear. But if you have those already, then something as silly as perfect dash cancels will actually close the gap between something that clears and something that doesn't, by a good margin. This is most definitely the last video of the year. Thank you for watching so far. Next up, we're going to cover the new upcoming characters, but if you want me to talk about any particular topic, please let me know. Leave a like or a sub, and see you next time.